My name is Perry Dahl, Colonel, United States Air Force, retired. I was a member of the 475th Fighter Group. On behalf of the officers, the men, and the director of this museum, Lee Northrup, I would like to welcome you to the 475th Fighter Group Historical Foundation Museum. The 475th Fighter Group was formed in Australia in May 1943. It was the only fighter group in this theater to be completely equipped with a P-38. It was also the only fighter group during World War II to be entirely activated in its area of responsibility, the Southwest Pacific. Its members came from within the theater as well as replacements from the U.S. It has no peacetime history. The urgent necessities of war brought this group into existence. It grew up and thrived on combat. Its performance justified its creation. In April of 1943, just a month prior to the activation of the 475th, the Japanese Wild Eagles, as they like to call themselves, launched a 100 aircraft strike on Port Moresby, New Guinea, on the very doorstep of Australia. The Japanese forces were steadily pressing south. To thwart their advance, it was imperative to gain, or at least localize, aerial supremacy. The only fighter available at that time with the range and capability to accomplish this mission was the P-38. For the first time, our bomber aircraft were able to strike enemy bases and shipping with fighter cover. The primary mission of a fighter group is to destroy enemy aircraft. Every individual in the 475th Fighter Group was dedicated to that mission. The pilots of the 475th Fighter Group accounted for 551 confirmed air-to-air victories and enjoyed a kill ratio of 11-to-1. The ground crews worked long into the night to get the aircraft ready for flight the next day. They performed under the most difficult conditions, with no permanent structures and limited power tools and equipment. The group flew 24,701 sorties and produced 43 fighter races. That's pilots who registered 5 or more air-to-air victories. Colonel Charles McDonald was an ace, and he was the group commander. Tommy McGuire, the second leading American ace and holder of the Congressional Medal of Honor, was also in the 475th Fighter Group. This museum not only covers the 475th Fighter Group history and its members, but it's also a tribute to those who designed and manufactured the greatest airplane of its time, the P-38. It was the first fighter designed to fly over 450 miles an hour. This airplane replaced the P-39 and the P-40, the best fighters in the inventory at that time. Not only did they have trouble matching the Japanese fighters, but they did not have the range required to fulfill mission requirements in the Southwest Pacific. When the P-38 came on the scene, the air battle rapidly turned around, and for the first time, the Americans were able to hold their own in air-to-air combat with the Japanese. The Zeros were much more maneuverable, but the Americans employed tactics to take advantage of the P-38's superior speed. Also, the firepower of the 4 50 caliber machine guns and one 20mm cannon firing 900 rounds a minute, that was unmatched. Having 2 engines was also a big plus. The strategy of slowing the Japanese offensive by striking their bases and shipping required long overwater flights. While engaging the enemy hundreds of miles from home plate, it was reassuring to know that if one engine was shot out or failed for any reason, the other one could bring you safely home. Throughout the museum, you will find monitors that tell the stories about the unit and its members. Pilots will tell of their combat experiences, explain tactics and techniques, as well as herald the attributes of the P-38 in this theater of operation. Ground crews will also discuss what it was like to live in tents with blowing sand and torrential rains and perform those tasks necessary to support the mission. These stories, captured on videotape, are highlighted in this museum along with the static display of the memorabilia contributed by the 475th members. With these personal tales, the story of World War II is also told in its stark reality. It is often said that heroes are made of ordinary men doing extraordinary things. It happened in this unit. Ordinary men just doing their job to ensure that liberty would not be lost. During the past years, our defeated enemy has become a valued member of the international society. Many of the hard-fought battles that cost lives on both sides have been forgotten. If we are to learn from the past and move forward in the future, we must preserve our history. That is the quest of this museum. We hope you will enjoy visiting it throughout the years. Now please go and see and listen to what it was like to be a member of the 475th Fighter Group during World War II in the Southwest Pacific. And please, come back and see us again.